Before we begin, I'd like to say that this video will show off gameplay from the new quest from the Champions Ballad. Any of the new story cutscenes will only have parts from the trailer shown, and any bosses or the new dungeon will not be shown. If you don't want to see gameplay for any reason, I'd suggest you turn away now. Though without further ado, let us get on with the video. Hey everybody, Link Touches Your Spirit here, and today we will be talking about DLC Pack 2 for Breath of the Wild, the Champions Ballad. As you may or may not know, I made a video about DLC Pack 1, the Master Trials, and I am happy to say that I've beaten the Beginner Trial of the Sword sometime after the video, and not long after beating DLC Pack 2, I beat the Middle Trial of the Sword. I still think there should be a checkpoint system for the Trial of the Sword, though. But this video will not be about DLC Pack 1, instead it's about DLC Pack 2. So let's begin talking about DLC Pack 2. Unlike the Master Trials, which is a side quest, the Champions Ballad is a story quest. The only requirement that I know of to trigger the quest is to take back all of the Divine Beasts, Von Ruta, Naboris, Meadow, and Rudania. When you do this, and you have the DLC, Zelda will prompt you to return to the Chamber of Resurrection where you started the game, and return the Sheikah Slate to where you found it. Doing this, you will start what I call the trial for the quest. For this segment, you are given a weapon called the One-Hit Obliterator. This melee weapon's gimmick is that when it is glowing, it will kill anything in one hit, but the reverse is also true. Any enemies will kill you in one hit. How this works is, throughout the entire trial for the quest, you are stuck with a fourth of a heart. Nothing will change this. There's no way to heal. There's even no way to switch your melee weapon. You are stuck using the One-Hit Obliterator the entire time. What you are supposed to do during this segment is take out the 4 monster camps on the Great Plateau. Each time you take out a monster camp, a new shrine will rise out of the ground and you have to beat them. When you beat them, you are not only given your last 4 spirit orbs of the game, assuming you're like me and beat all the shrines before the DLC, the One-Hit Obliterator disappears, opening the way for the rest of the quest. You can see the One-Hit Obliterator if you go back to the Shrine of Resurrection, but you can't pick it up, and thankfully, well, personally, I think that's a good thing because, well, it was a bit difficult to be stuck at a fourth of a heart for the entire time. Once the trial for the quest is complete and the quest itself begins, there will be 4 locations you need to visit. One in the region where a Divine Beast is. Once you arrive to the location, you will be given the locations of the 3 trials you have to do for the Divine Beast, and Kaz, the Barred Bird of Hyrule, will give you a detail for each trial. The Champion Trials, as they are called, are broken into 3 main categories. Find and defeat an enemy or a few enemies, go through Rings of Light, thankfully not in Superman 64 style, and solve some type of puzzle. Each trial you beat, a shrine appears. When you beat these trials, you get a Divine Beast emblem. When you get 3 emblems for the Divine Beast, when you return to the Divine Beast, you'll be presented with a final challenge for the Divine Beast. When you beat it, you'll be presented with some backstory for the champions, as well as an upgraded version of the champion abilities. At first, I thought it allowed for uses of the ability, for more uses of the ability based on how the game described it, but it just reduces charging time, which is still helpful. After getting all the upgrades and much needed backstory for the champions, you will once again return to the Shrine of Resurrection and put the Sheikah Slate back to where you first got it. Then you will be in the final dungeon of the quest. Once you go through it, then you will have to fight the final boss of the quest. I won't spoil anything for you guys, but I will say that while I did beat the boss on my first try, I do think that the boss has a bit too much defense, so the fight will drag for a bit. Once you beat the boss, you will be presented with the Master Cycle 0, and Link will gain a new memory. The Master Cycle 0 is really fun to drive around on, though it will run out of fuel at some point, though it is easy to refuel, as it will accept any materials as fuel, though it seems that Guardian Parts works the best. Now, what are my thoughts on the Champions Ballad? I think that this DLC is something that you should pick up, as it is important for the story of the game as it expands upon it. The only reason I can think of that you wouldn't get the DLC is if you have the Wii U version and are planning to get a Switch and that version of the game. I'm pretty sure that's what my friend Greshinator is planning on doing. The quest is challenging, though it never really seemed unfair to me, unlike the Trial of the Sword, which I still think should have checkpoints at the floors that give you free gear and materials, as well as the only instances of cooking pots in the trials. I don't know. I just think that that's something that they should have done. But that's besides the point, since that's DLC Pack 1. So, those are my thoughts on the Champions Ballad for Breath of the Wild. I am Link Touch vs. Spirit, and I will see you guys next time.
The route's protection is now ready to roll.